Hi everyone, Danielle here. I'm doing an overview of Foraglings. This is a game by Sam McDavid that's coming soon, and he sent me a prototype copy to do an overview for you guys. This is set up for a solo game. I'm not going to go through a full game. It's going to basically include information on the components, kind of an idea of how they work, and then a round of a game so you get an idea of the gameplay. So there's kind of a lot going on. I'm going to try to explain it in a logical order, but hopefully you can keep up. We'll talk about this board in the middle. So we have this board, and it is the main board. We have a bunch of cards that are already laid out, but essentially the cards in this deck, there's 6 cards face down in this pile, also came from this deck, which is the community deck. So what you would do is you would shuffle all of the cards here, here, up here, and then the larger cards on the bottom. You'll draw 6 of them face down, making sure that none of the 6 are open bids. If they are, you just draw a new card and put it face down. So you're going to draw all of these 6 cards face down into this pile on the board. And make sure that they're hidden bid or single round bids. After that, you'll put the community deck face up and just draw the 5 cards on the top face up. This will be your market row. And then you'll draw 3 cards down here as well. So as you can see, they are community cards. But then what's special about these are that these are bounty piles. So you'll put a bounty card on the top part of each of those cards. So just like that, these will basically be paired up with a bounty card and a community card. I'll go into a little bit more depth on how the cards each work. But moving on to more of the components, we have the round tracker. There are 6 rounds. You'll put the round tracker on round 1 when you start the game. And notice that there are special icons below round 3 and 5. So at the end of those 2 rounds, this is the icon for income. So you go ahead and reference your income card. That would be below your board, and gain that. You'll notice some buttons here, and I'll get to that in just a second. But moving on to your player area, you would have chosen one of the Foraglings playmats. I decided to choose Munch for this overview video. There's a special setup, so I would have read through that and make sure that I complete that. There's also some special gameplay information, some triggers I have to keep in mind as I play the game. I have a special track specific to Munch. So what's cool is that every Foraging has a different style of play. And this one really is to maximize my track here and move up as high as possible. So that by the end of the game, I earn points equal to the level that I'm on. The level of your forageling is based on this icon on the top left, 1 being the easiest. And then over here, this is your priority number. So what I did when I set up this game is I chose this character for myself, priority 1, and then I randomly chose 2 characters, one for this black forageling and then one for the um, teal looking forageling. And both of these will be considered friendly foragelings, or essentially the AI opponents trying to get in my way throughout the game. And so when they pulled their mats, they got this one was a 2, this one was a 3. Again, I had a 1. So you'll place a button from each of those player colors on the green part of this board, which is the bidding priority. And you just place them in order of priority. So I was 1, the black was 2, and then the teal was 3. So that's how the bidding priority is determined. It's based off of that number on the playmat. As you can see, we don't need to keep the forageling playmats out for the AI opponents. It was simply just to determine the bidding priority. You still want to set up these items here, which I'll just go into in a bit. But to continue talking about the player board, you will grab your player buttons and place them onto a collection mat. So what's neat about this game is that there's a bunch of options for the collection, and they just slide in. Again, there's different levels of these, and these are actually double-sided. So there's a lot of options and replayability here if you wanted to kind of maybe even do a little campaign for yourself in terms of difficulty. So you simply slide it into this board, and this will present to you, you know, kind of the opportunities of different bonuses you'll be able to gain throughout the game. There is polyominoes, as you can see over here, that you'll be placing on this mat. But when you're setting up for the game, you will be placing buttons on these grayed out areas. And throughout the game, you'll get an opportunity to remove these buttons to make it a little bit easier to place your polyominoes on your collection mat. You notice here that there was supposed to be an income, a button here. However, in my setup, I do remove one of my buttons and put it on this track. So that's why one is missing. So my board is just a little bit more open, I guess, to place a polyomino in that section. And that could be strategic. It doesn't tell you exactly which button to pick, but I decided to pick this one just to open up this corner. I could have chosen this one as well, but I felt maybe that would be the better decision. Uh, Not sure if it is, but that's just my thinking. You'll also make sure that, when you set up your player area, you are grabbing the colored board. So obviously I'm playing this magenta color. So I grab this board, I grab my player pawn as well, which will be used in the market phase, I believe. You'll also grab 10 coins. Or is it 15? I think it might be 15. Let me just double check the rule book. Um, but yeah, when you're setting up, you are getting a total of 10 coins. So you have five, and then one, two, three, four, five. I had one too many. That threw me off. All right. So you'll start with 10 coins. And normally in a multiplayer game, you're kind of playing behind the screen. But in this case, it's kind of open information. The AI is really not going to care to know if you're hiding a certain amount of coins. So, um, and I will show you that real quick. So here is the screen. So normally would go on your table so you could hide kind of what you're doing with your coins. But essentially, this also gives you some really good reminders on how to play the game. And this is really helpful when you're learning the game because there's a lot to remember of how things work. There's definitely a process to playing this game. All right. So, to explain a little bit about the AI setup, there's a deck of AI cards. There's 12 of them, at least in this prototype. And you're going to be creating two decks of six, one for this player, one for this player. And when it's their turn, you'll simply flip over their card to see what they do. And this basically gives you, everything you need to know in terms of what they're going to decide to do in each of these phases. So as you can see, this will show the market row, which card they'll discard. This will show some of the actions within the board. There's three here, and which one they will block. And over here, this will be the priority of where they end up placing their player pawn throughout the game. And this will be kind of how they bid. So there's a lot of bidding involved in this game where you're trying to either, outbid somebody, or if you don't care, you don't have to bid at all. Um, but yeah, talking a bit more about the polyomino side of things, the bidding section is very interesting. So this is the bounty piles. So when you bid, you're going to choose a bounty pile, and these bounty piles will give you the chance to gain some polyominoes to place onto your collection board. And when you place it on your collection board, there are some rules. You can't place any part of that polyomino outside of the square here. You can't cover up a button, and you can't overlap the tiles. If you cover up a bonus, you gain that immediately, so that's neat. Um, but yeah, you'll kind of feel constricted a little bit when you start the game, especially with the buttons out on your collection mat. So let's talk a little bit about the cards. So the community project cards, as you can see out here, there's a lot of iconography. So if we want to just focus on this, um, we have, on the top left here, we have the collecting resource. So this is the resource that you would need to discard to gain the community card during the market phase. So if you have this on your board, you would just simply discard it, and you could gain this card during the market phase. The top right is an exchange action. So this will allow you to exchange a certain resource to gain a certain resource. All right. And you could do that many times as you can, as long as you can afford it. Um, Over here, this is kind of like an emblem. There are three different project types. This one in particular is the red one, which stands for community structures. But there's a teal looking color, which is community items. And then there's like a darker bluish color, which is community events. So that's what that can give you an idea of kind of what the card can do. And then we have here a number 7. So these are one-time bonuses. So they are gained when you play the card from your hand. So you gain it to your hand if you spend a resource up here. But then when you play the card from your hand, which you'll be able to do in the, I believe it's the market phase, you'll gain the bonus of 7 coins if you play this card. And then endgame scoring, if this card is actually still in your hand, you get to score based on this bottom portion of the card. So 4 coins per this particular polyomino. So lots going on, lots of value in these community cards, and lots of good decision making required. Looking at the bounty cards, they're a little bit different. So you'll see there's a front side and then there's like a back side. So I'm not sure which one is really considered which, but you'll notice there's a number on the left. So the top left, this one says it's a 3. So that means that's how many tiles you'll be able to collect from this card if you choose this from the bounty pile. So this other side will have 3 tiles to choose, to receive and place on your mat. And then this on the top right will actually show you uh, a guaranteed tile that will be on the other side of this card. Let's flip it over. And these are the 3 tiles you will be receiving from the supply to place onto your collection board. So it will give you a clue of what you might receive. So you have an idea of what you're trying to get onto your board to place. You might want to look at these clues. But also, when you're choosing a bounty pile, you're choosing the community card that goes into your hand with it. All right. So you do get to also see that information as well. Okay. So let's do a quick round. We'll do round 1. So now it is the bidding phase. So we have to figure out what we're going to bid and hope that, we are going to get first pick of the bounty pile we want. So at this point, I think for me, I would want this bounty pile. I would really hope that the AI doesn't get their choice before me. And so I only have 10 coins. I'm going to just say I bid 5. So let's see what this one will bid. So because this is a hidden bid, we look at this top of the bid deck. We'll look at the second value here for hidden bid. They're also going to bid 5. All right, let's see about this one. For the hidden bid, they're going to bid 1. So right now, the AI is tied with me for 5, but we do look at the bidding priority to break ties. Because I am ahead, I do get to bid first. So the collecting order will be this, and then they're going to go next. It's kind of the exact same order, actually, which is pretty funny, which could happen. And because I bid the highest, I actually gain this card into my hand. So this is the dinner bell. So this will be now in my hand. I also have this card during setup. That's also in my hand as well. Foraging improv. So that was the bidding phase, and now we go into the collecting phase. So I get to select one of these bounty piles, and I think I'm gonna choose this one. So let's see what we get with this. So we knew that we were going to get 2 tiles from this, and one of them was gonna be this shape. I'll flip it over, and oh, I get 2 of them. So I'll go ahead and take 2 of these from the supply, and we'll discard that bounty. And now we get to place it on our board. So I'm going to place this one. Yeah, I think I'll place this one here. All right. And I covered this up, so I believe that gains me 1 coin from the supply. Let's see. Oh, I need to get the coins out. All right. And then I also gain a tile of this color. So it looks like it is a blue. And it could be any tile. So I'm going to gain this one. Okay. And then I get to place these. Um, I'll place it here, I guess, and I'll gain 2 coins. And I also gain another tile. And this one looks like it is this lighter blue. Okay. Trying to see these colors. Are they? Because this one was blue, but it doesn't look exactly the same. So I'm a little bit confused by that. It might be the green, actually. So I get to pick a green one. I'm gonna pick this one as well. Which I'll place. I think I'm able to get all my bonuses now. I'll place it here. Gain 1 coin as well. And then that tile, I'm trying to see what color that could be. I guess it is one of these colors. And I guess I'll grab one of this as that bonus also includes. So I have to place both of these, and I'll place this one. Yeah, I guess I'll place it here and cover that icon up. And that one means return the tile from collection to gain a new type of that from the supply. So I could do that and gain that. And I guess anything from my collection I can replace. And I'll take this and I'll replace it with one of these as well. Um, yeah, and I'll place this one. I'll place this one here. Now gain a coin, and then I gain another polyomino. I'll choose this one here. I'll just place it here, and I'll place this one up here. I think that's the only place I can really put it for now. All right, so that was a bit of a long collecting phase. I add this community project to my hand, and then I get to place my player pawn on an open spot in the line, which is right here. And I'm going to place this right here so I could remove a button. I'll remove this button. And when you remove the button, you get to place it on one of these income areas, which I didn't really go over. But again, as I did mention in the round section, that after round 3 and 5, you will gain income. And you'll also be able to gain any unlocked income. These are locked. If you place 2 buttons on here and 2 buttons on here, it unlocks the bonuses on the bottom. You just need to place 1 button to unlock this bonus, which is just a coin. I'm going to put it here on this middle one. That's what I'll do with that button. All right. So now it is the AI's turn. You're going to go with the black. So they're going to look at their card and look at what they're going to do. So in this case, because I did go first, I'm not sure it really matters which one, but they're choosing priority between the bounty piles is the higher number. So between these two, they're both the same number on the bounty card, so they just choose the leftmost one. So this would essentially be chosen by the black player. And then we have this one being chosen by the teal player in the bidding process. Okay, so after that, we'll do the market phase. So now we get to look at the cards in our hand, and we get to decide if we want to play any of them. We don't have to, but we could. And if we did, we would just do the action on the right. I guess, hmm. I'm going to, I guess I'll go ahead and just try this dinner bell card. So what that looks like. And I'll get to choose a card from the community row. And I'll choose one with a lot of coins, I think. Um, and since I did enter the market first, by the way, I do get to move up this track here. Oh, and when I removed an income button, I get to move one up again. So I do have to keep in mind my character. So I'm going to choose this one actually. And I'll add this to my hand. And then you'll just simply refill with the top card, just like that. And then I'll decide to do a market action. So I'll just take my pawn and I'm going to, well, okay, just so you know, this would have put their pawn here, and this would have put its pawn here. Basically to block where I would be able to, but since I did have bidding priority first, it didn't really impact my decision. But anyway, now that all the pawns are where it should be, I will move my pawn into one of these three market actions, and I'd only be able to put my pawn there if there wasn't already a pawn there already. So I'm gonna go here and spend 3 coins, 2, 3. Oh, and this is goes to supply from before. And I'll get to remove an income token again, and I'll place it on top of here. So now this is unlocked. This bonus is now unlocked. I do trigger my movement up this track, taking me to 15. And then now they get to go. And so this player will get to move theirs over here. And this one would go, oh, in the same spot, but they can't. So they'll just have to go in that final open spot. So another action that could be done during the market phase, you really only get to do one of these 3 actions. You can use a market action, which is what I did, or you could interact with a community market project card that's in the market. And when you do that, you would just look at the different areas of the card that I was explaining. So you could have gained a community project by discarding one of your tiles that match the top left to gain it. Or you could use the exchange goods. So this, if you have the right resources, you could exchange any tiles, polyomino tiles with this icon to gain that many coins for as many as you wanted to. And then you would, discard that card. Yeah, those would be the 2 ways you can use a community card during the market phase. So after that, it's just a reset phase. So if there's any reset phase things on your Foraglings mats, you would go ahead and do any of those. Everyone gets their player pawns back. And then you'll refill any empty spaces that's in the market. So currently there are not. But what they would have done on their turn was this one would have taken this card. This one would have taken this card. So we'll just remove those. And you would just refill from the top. You do have to reference the card for every phase for each of these. And I kind of skipped those a little bit because I did have priority. And then after that, you refill the bounty pile. So we'll draw 3 down here. Put 3 bounties at the top. And then if any player happens to have more than 6 cards in their hand, they actually have to discard down to 6. So that is your max hand size for community cards. And you do not get any discard benefits, by the way. So you just have to discard the cards. And then you move the round marker down. And again, if you do reach round 3 and 5, you do gain income in the bidding priority order. And then you just continue in this way for the rest of the rounds. And whoever has the most points in a multiplayer game, you'd win. But essentially, in a solo game, you're trying to beat your own score. There will be certain end game scoring, so you could get gold, silver, or bronze depending on how many points you get. So for gold, you would score at least 200, silver is 175, and bronze is 150. There's also going to be a community achievement sheet for getting the max score for a community project. So, um, some things to just look out for during the Kickstarter launch. for some of the solo oriented components. Well, I hope you enjoyed this overview of Foragelings. I think it's already a beautiful game. This is a prototype, so keep that in mind. The components look great. I love this board. I love the polyomino aspect, the bidding and everything. It is really hard to mimic that, I feel like, in a solo game, but I think, it does it pretty well with the decks. I think when you're playing, bidding first, it does, feel like you don't really need that because they typically would just get in your way. But say you didn't bid enough and they bid more than you, that makes it a little bit more interesting. And it does mimic that multiplayer feel that you normally wouldn't get in a solo game. All right, well, let me know if you have any questions. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing, like or comment. Anything helps with the engagement of this video and all other videos on my channel. And I hope you're all staying healthy. And thanks again to Sam for sending me this copy to show you guys. Very excited to help out with their launch. All right. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.